So in this tutorial, we are going to learn about the hierarchy of the memory setup. So in any computer system, the total memory capacity can be considered as the hierarchy of components, and those components are secondary memory, main memory, cache memory, and internal memory. So you can see it is a kind of pyramid structure which has been created. So in some exams, you might be asked to draw the memory hierarchy pyramid, or you may be asked to write about the complete memory setup in a computer. So these are something which makes the complete memory of a computer system, and those are secondary memory, main memory, cache memory, and internal memory. And on the basis of cost and speed, if you see, so as we go up, the cost and speed goes on increasing. So if we go from secondary memory, main memory, cache memory to internal memory, the cost speed will increase as we move up the order. But as we move down the order, the capacity, the holding capacity of these memories increases downwards. That means secondary memory will have the largest capacity and internal memory will have the smallest capacity. Similarly, the internal memory will have the highest cost and speed, and secondary memory will have the lowest speed and cost. So from diagram you can make out these points very easily. So this is a memory hierarchy pyramid. Now if we talk about these memories one by one, so first of all we will consider main memory. Now what is main memory? This main memory is actually something which occupies the central position in the complete memory hierarchy. So this has the central position in the complete memory hierarchy. Why? Because it can directly communicate with CPU. So main memory can directly communicate with CPU, and also it can communicate with secondary memory through via that input output processor. So through input output processor it can communicate with secondary memory, and it can directly communicate with CPU. So what is main memory exactly? The programs or data that is required by CPU currently for the execution of any task, that data resides in the main memory, and those data are provided to the CPU as and when required. So what will main memory hold? Main memory will only hold those programs that are currently needed by CPU for the execution, and that is why main memory has a capacity which is lesser than secondary memory, and this is where secondary memory comes in the picture. Suppose some data and program is not required currently by the main memory, or it has been executed and now it does not need those program and data. So what it will do? Main memory will transfer those data to secondary memory. Why? Because secondary memory are backup memory. Secondary memory are also known as backup memory or backup storage. These are also known as backup storage, right? So whenever any program or data which is not needed by CPU, that means not needed by CPU, then it is transferred to the secondary memory. That means it is stored in the secondary memory as a backup storage, and whenever it will require again those data in future, it will fetch from the secondary memory and again move back to the main memory for execution of the task, right? So this is why secondary memory is also the slow memory. That means it is not as fast as main memory. So if we start using secondary memory in place of main memory, what will happen? The computer's processing time will increase, because it will not be able to provide data and instructions to CPU at the rapid pace. Even main memory is also not able to provide data and instructions to CPU at the same pace as it requires. That is why one phenomenon which is known as von Neumann bottleneck arises. I have already explained that. You can go to that particular video and find out what is von Neumann bottleneck. Here we need to understand that main memory is a bit faster than secondary memory, and it has less storage than secondary memory. That is why the data and instructions which is not needed for current execution by CPU is transferred to this secondary memory, right? So secondary memory is used as a backup storage. And if we ask for the examples, then examples of secondary memory are going to be like magnetic disks. Magnetic disk, what do you mean by magnetic disks? You must have used something like this, like a hard disk, floppy disk. I think you must have used at least something as a backup storage, right? Hard disk, floppy disk, and you can also say magnetic tapes are also used as backup device or secondary device. So these are the examples of secondary memory. And if you talk about the examples of primary memory, then example of primary memory or main memory is going to be ROM, DRAM, etc. So this its example can be ROM, DRAM, etc. So don't worry about these things. We will study in detail about main memory, secondary memory with much more emphasis on each and every one of them. It's just because we are discussing about the memory hierarchy, so things will be shorter for this particular tutorial. If you want to know more about main memory and secondary memory or cache memory, internal memory, you should go to the respective video tutorial. Right, here we are just giving a gist of each and everything so that you can write about memory hierarchy whenever it is needed. And then we have a cache memory. Cache memory is what? Cache memory is a special type of memory. Just now above I explained something, right? That is von Neumann bottleneck, because main memory's speed is not exactly equals to the CPU's memory speed, and that is why the processing time takes a hit. That means CPU starts executing the program and data at a much faster rate, but main memory is not able to provide the data and instruction at the same pace. That is why the performance takes a hit and there arises a phenomenon which is known as von Neumann bottleneck. But that phenomenon can be reduced by using a cache memory, which is a special type of memory. It is a special type of memory which is used between the CPU and the main memory, and cache memory has the speed. This cache memory has speed almost same as CPU, so it starts providing data and instruction to CPU at the same pace as and when it requires. So cache memory generally helps in increasing the speed of the computer system. So this cache memory, why it is used? It is used to hold the data which is currently being executed or currently being needed by CPU, right? So it holds temporary data also. It holds data as well as some temporary data. Temporary data means something which is needed during the computation, but we are not able to see that, but system uses that temporarily to store some data or instruction within it. So cache memory holds both of them and it acts as a buffer. What? It acts as a buffer between which? Between CPU and main memory, right? So it acts as a buffer between CPU and main memory. So this is a cache memory. Now if we talk about register, so register is something which is referred to as that internal memory. If you see, this is internal memory. And if you talk about CPU, suppose this is a CPU, then within CPU we have this high speed registers already present in it, and that is why if this is CPU, then we have high speed registers within it, and that is why the speed of CPU is also very high, and that is why we need cache memory to accommodate the difference that is present between the CPU and main memory, and that is when register or internal memory is needed. Now internal memory is a high speed register which is used inside the CPU, as I told. And these registers, what it does is it holds temporary results when a temporary results when a computation is in progress. So there is no disparity between a CPU and this register. Why? Because they are fabricated almost with the same technology. That is why registers are faster, and it makes a CPU also faster, and thus cache memory is needed to make sure that main memory does not lag behind and it starts providing data and instruction at the same pace.